A very good noon to all of you. I welcome you to this session, the part 4 of this session, 50 must know vocabulary words. I hope you've attended the first three parts and I hope you've learned quite a few new vocabulary words from those parts. Continuing with this, today we are going to focus on contextual vocabulary. Vocabulary where some context, some surrounding words are given to us, how to attempt such questions. Okay? Good noon, Ishang. Good noon, Sonali. I hope you're doing well. Good noon, Pratyusha. All right, so let's begin. This is our agenda for the day. As I've already told you, we will learn some new words through fill in the blanks, which is a part of contextual vocabulary. Okay. So, in such questions, as I've already told you, the surrounding words play an important role. So, please read them carefully. Look at the tone of the word that is required in the blank, whether it's a positive word or it's a negative word, right? So, look at the tone of the word. Pay attention to the surrounding words and always eliminate, right? So, following these three things will help you in such questions. So here's your first question. Let me see what you say here. Yes. Good noon, Gautam. Okay, what do you say? Sonali says D. Okay. Ishank also says D. Others. Just two responses. Gautam, Pratyusha, what do you say? Vinayak says D. All right. So I think that you have missed out on something, right? I told you to pay attention to the surrounding words. When I say that to pay attention to the surrounding words, I also mean to see the structure. As in, is there a cause effect relationship there? Is there a contrast that has been drawn there? Is one idea simply stated and probably continued? So, if you see this, there's an as here. A growing number of these expert professionals dash having to train foreigners as the students end up. So, this is the cause. This part here is the cause. As the students end up dash, the teachers who have to then unhappily contend with no jobs at all or new jobs with drastically reduced pay packets. So, this is the cause and this is the effect. So, if they are replacing, if supplanting means replacing, I'm sure that's why you've said that D is the answer. So if these students end up replacing, if this is the cause, then what will be the effect of it? Will these expert professionals train foreigners? Will they have to compulsorily train foreigners? And even if they have to do, won't they resent training foreigners? So A is the answer. Good, Vedant. So the effect here is that because these students end up replacing the teachers themselves, the teachers resent, the teachers begrudge, the teachers do not like training these foreigners. Okay, so A is going to be the answer, not D, Delhi. A and D were close options here. So if you see here in such questions, the words are not going to be very challenging as such. Replacing, supplanting, assisting, very common words. You just have to pay attention to the surrounding words a lot. Okay, and then of course eliminate. I hope this makes sense to you. Good noon, Shri. All right, let's have a look at this. So 5 options here. Let me see what you say. Similar words, commonly confused words. So, which is the best option here? Okay, I've got two responses. Others? So D, E, B. This is what I've got so far. B again, okay. Let's have a look. So first of all, I want more of you to be responsive, right? I can see that you are being a little lazy. Some of you are being a little hesitant. No, that won't do when it comes to VARC, right? So let's have a look. A, D, B, E, pretty much everything I've got except C. Okay. So traveling is my hobby. Today in the Himalayas, as I drag my feet through the dash. So you are dragging your feet through something. Okay. I cannot but think of the same time last year when I was negotiating the thick. So pay attention to this word thick. Then drag my feet, pay attention to this. To the thick dash of the Ganges Delta. Okay. Or for that matter, the time I spent with my children dash about in the waters of the Arabian Sea. Dash about in the waters. What do? You play in the waters, right? That's what this person is reminiscing. The time I spent with my children dash about in the waters of the Arabian Sea. So the word for this is sloshing about or splashing water. Sloshing about means splashing water on each other, right? So either this or this is the answer. It's either A or E. Now you must be thinking, but why not slushing? Slush actually means this melted ice, okay, partially melted ice. Like we have slushies, right? For instance, if you go to KFC, they have something called crushers. So, it's part ice, part water, and it's a sweet drink. So, slush means partially melted ice. So, probably this person would not play with his children in slush, right? And therefore, these two are eliminated. Sludge. What is sludge? Yes. So here this person is talking about a delta, right? So what is delta? If you know the concept of it, basically when because of the joining of rivers, a triangular shape of mud is formed, right? That is called a delta. So this triangle contains wet mud, and such soft thick mud is called sludge. Okay, so sludge is soft thick mud, and because we are talking about a delta here, sludge is appropriate here. Okay, so this is eliminated, this is eliminated. Now this person is in the Himalayas, so of course the Himalayas will have ice, will have snow, right? So as I drag my feet through the slush, through the partially melted ice, through the partially melted snow, that's the uh, logic that needed to be applied here. I hope this makes sense to you. A is our answer. So this category of questions is called common confusables. You can be asked these questions in the form of fill in the blanks, as I did here, right? You can be asked these in other forms as well, where a sentence is given to you, then two words are given for that sentence. You are asked, okay, which word fits better, right? This could also be the form. Okay. Let's go to question 3 then. Let's see what you say here. Easy question. Okay. What do you say? I've got two responses. Okay, excellent. So this time, all of you are correct. D is the answer here. Into the limited space given him, a headline writer must compress. So I keep underlining what I think is important for me, right? So limited space, compress the dash of the news, and he must do it without dash. So I'm talking about the responsibilities of a headline writer, right? This person is writing the headline, and the headline will not have all the news, it will not have the totality of the news, right? It may have a synopsis, but even a synopsis is a little longer, even a summary is a little longer, right? But we'll keep this in the running. B is eliminated. The bias of the news does not make sense, and he has to do it without reservations, would mean without any restraint. No, every person who's writing in the newspaper has to exercise some restraint. We can't express our personal opinions there, right? But we have to do it, they have to do it without ambiguity. The person who's reading it should clearly understand what this article is going to be about. So that's why D, Delhi. Good, all of you got this correct. Okay, how about this? So what do you say? B, Bangalore, all right. B, okay. Okay, so a lot of B's here. Let me see. Okay, so absolutely correct. See, rather than, again, we had to focus on this rather than. That means it is designed for scholars and research workers rather than for a lay person. That's what I want to say here, right? Omniscient therefore cannot fit. What is omniscient? Yes. Who will tell me? Science is knowledge. Omni means all. So, an omniscient person is an all-knowing person, someone who knows everything, right? An all-knowing person. For instance, in a lot of religions, it is said that God is all-knowing. God knows everything. So, God is omniscient, right? Okay. Assiduous. Assiduous. So, someone who's very hardworking and diligent is an assiduous person. Hardworking and diligent. Such a person is an assiduous person. So, rather than for the assiduous dictionary user does not create that sort of a contrast that I want to create with scholars and research workers, isn't it? Casual, however, creates that contrast. So, I wanted to create a contrast here, and casual does that. Moreover, compiled is a better term for a dictionary rather than assembled. Assembled is used more for electronic parts, let's say, for parts of a machine. Compiled, on the other hand, means that you take written material from various sources and put it in one source, which is the job of a dictionary. Yes, correct, Sonali Vedant. Your answers for omniscient were correct. Some other words from omni. I think omnipresent is something that all of us know. Omniscient, we just learned. There is omnipotent and omnicompetent. Omnicompetent. So, omnipotent, I think, if you know the meaning of potent, you would realize it means all powerful. Potent means powerful. So, all powerful. Then, omnicompetent. Someone who is very multi-talented, right? A versatile person who's multi-talented, who's who can exercise competence in a lot of things. That person is omni-competent, right? So these are some words, and B is our answer. All right. How about question 5? Okay. Let's see what you say. Sorry guys, just give me a second. Yes, we are on this question. So I got D, C, A. All right. So something went wrong with my PowerPoint. Omni-word, Shri, yes, it's not an accepted word in the dictionaries, but I've also read about various, when I read about various personality types. So it's an emerging term, omni-word. People who have trouble in, balancing their introvertedness and extrovertedness. So sometimes they are all introverted, sometimes they are all extroverted. They experience extremes like that. Okay, so D, C, A, that's what you've told me. Now, let's have a look at what the answer is. Hungarians may grumble about the difficulty of acquiring cars, but they point quickly to a compensation. So, what is that compensation? The dashed look of their tree lined avenues, right? So, the compensation of not being able to have cars is this, that they have tree lined avenues, right? And the absence of dash exhaust fumes. And there are no exhaust fumes also when there are no cars. So, the absence of superfluous would mean redundant. So, I'm happy that nobody said A. No, okay, one of you said it. All right. Superfluous means redundant. So, okay, you are thinking that exhaust fumes here are redundant. See, actually, this means something that is over and above what is required. That is the meaning of superfluous, over and above what is required. But when I talk about exhaust fumes, the better word for this would be, let's say, noxious or poisonous, right? Something that is harmful for us, and that's why C is our answer. Okay, good. Those of you who said C, two of you said C. Now, the uncluttered. See, if there are cars, you must have seen this in your lanes. If let's say you live in independent houses, cars create such a cluttered look to the lanes, don't they? So, when you have tree-lined avenues, it will have an uncluttered look. It will not look congested and cluttered. So C is our answer here. Now, OTOs. OTOs is something that is not practical. Something that is impractical in nature is OTOs. So I do not need a negative word here. I rather need a positive word here. Tone. And therefore B is eliminated. Okay. Absence of copious. Again, copious means in excessive amounts. So to be fair, A and D are very similar. Right, placid and tranquil are synonyms, superfluous and copious are synonyms. So if uh, this had to be the answer. No, then this could equally be the answer. That means probably neither of them is the answer. This is also a logic that you can apply when you're really confused in a question, when you find it really challenging. If two options are very, very similar, right, in vocabulary, probably neither of them is the answer, right? So, C is our answer here. Placid is again something that's calm. Placid is calm, soothing. Tranquil also means calm, composed, right? Noxious is harmful. Something that is harmful for your body is noxious. Okay. Hope this makes sense to you. Yes, no. Any query, please ask. All right, then I'm assuming this is clear. Let's go to question 6. Yes. Because tree ka lines hai, right? Trees are lined neatly. Okay, trees are arranged neatly in a line. Okay, so there is no clutter in their lanes. Okay, so uncluttered, tree lined avenues. If cars were present, they would have become cluttered, right? Yes, obnoxious and noxious are related. Nox means something that is harmful. Nox means something that is harmful. Okay. Nox also means night. Nox also means night. But one meaning of nox is harmful also, right? So noxious, physically harmful. This is a term. Noxious, you'll encounter this being used in medicine a lot, right? Doctors. Obnoxious has to relate with someone's nature. Somebody who's mean, okay, evil. That person is obnoxious. Okay. What is debasement? Debase. हाँ जी. When you when something gets debased, in a way it is getting degenerated. Okay, उसका base lower हो गया. You can learn it like this. Its base has lowered down, right? That's what we can say. So to debase someone would be to insult them, right? And if there is a reduction in the quality of something, then we will call it that okay, this thing has experienced debasement, right? So debasement is degradation. I can comfortably say that. The degradation of democratic freedom is dialogue. No, dialogue is rather the essence. So I need a positive word here. Okay, because of this dialogue, I need a positive word. Debasement eliminated, alienation eliminated. The pinnacle, okay, this can also fit. The pinnacle of democratic freedom is dialogue. But the second one does not fit here. Restrained interchange, no. Unrestrained, unhampered, untrammeled, they're all synonyms. Unhampered, untrammeled, unrestrained. So C is going to be the answer. So you see that your contextual vocabulary questions are a mix of, easy and difficult questions, isn't it? So some of them are so easy that one option will be the only one that'll have both the blanks correct. For instance, this was the case here, right? Whereas some of them, because they have common confusables, they can be challenging. So you need to prepare for all such kinds of questions. For currency, Vedant, we usually say depreciation or devaluation. Okay, so the term that we use is depreciation or devaluation. We can use debasement in order to indicate that okay, its purchasing power has gone down, or in a so that in a way is a degradation of its quality. But in economics, in finance, these are the two terms that are used: depreciation or devaluation, depending on whether you have a floating exchange rate system or you have a fixed exchange rate system. You can find out more about this floating and fixed exchange rate system. Okay, all right. Let's talk about another question, interesting question. I agree, Shri. Sometimes the context makes our life very easy. Okay. What do you say? I've got three B's so far. Others. Okay. All right. Her novel published to universal acclaim. What is acclaim? We say this, no, that this is a critically acclaimed movie. Critically acclaimed, critically praised movie. So acclaim is praise, right? Her literary gifts acknowledged by the chief figures of the Harlem Renaissance. Her reputation as yet dashed by envious slights. Envious, jealous, slights, insults. So sometimes people insult you because they are jealous of you. Okay. So that means the point that we are talking about, the time point that we are talking about, her reputation had still not been tarnished by such jealous insults. Those were yet to come her way. They hadn't really come her way till then. Hurston was clearly at the dash of her career. So she was at the peak of her career. I think this is very easy to identify. And the only option that mentions the word peak here is option B, which says zenith. Ebb is a low point, right? Brink is the edge of something, not the peak. Extremity again is a negative word. I needed zenith, which is only there in option B. Okay. Confused between B and D. See, for option, for the first blank, no, all these fit. First blank में तो सब आ सकता है. As yet undamaged. Undamaged is again slightly less appropriate, but untarnished, untainted, unmarred, any of these can come. So you have to rely on the second blank here. So was clearly at the brink. When you are at the brink of something, you are being pushed towards something. I am at the brink of my patience right now. If I say that, that means I am going to become, you will see me getting angry or impatient at any point of time now. Okay. Then extremity. Extremity is again, we don't want extremities in our life. It's a negative word. For instance, we just talked about omnivert. This person experiences these extremities of ambivertedness and, sorry, introvertedness and extrovertedness, right? So extremity of her career, no, negative word. Zenith, the highest point. Pinnacle, the highest point. Okay. And what is the lowest point? Yes, Sri. Good that you made that connection. What is the lowest point called? So the opposite of zenith or pinnacle. The word for that is nadir. This is how it is pronounced, nadir. Okay, so nadir is the lowest point of something. Okay, hope this makes sense. Pinnacle, zenith, nadir, the opposite. We learned these words. Good, Shri. Okay, question 8. Okay, C is what I've got. Others. Imagine these experiments were never carried out. The work was non existent work. So, okay, one of you says A. Is it an instance of comprehensive research? Comprehensive is something that covers a wide range of things. That is comprehensive. That cannot be the answer. C is our answer here. The research was out and out fraudulent because these experiments were never carried out. So, fraudulent, deceptive. Right? What is the meaning of this word taught to us? Yes, I hope I've spelled it correctly. Taught to us. I think there's an extra U there. Just a second. Let me just. हाँ, taught to us में U भी आएगा यहाँ पर. So I've added that U here. What does this mean? An act of tort. We use this in law. See, ideally, taught to us means something that is twisted. Ideally, it means something that is twisted. Okay. But in law, we use the word tort to talk about a fraud. Okay, an instance of fraudulent activity, right? So here it is an instance of tort, an instance of fraudulent research, and these were deliberately deceptive. They were meant to deceive you, to trick you, right? Okay, so I hope this is clear. C is the answer here. The other words were easy, right? Erroneous nahi hai. Erroneous means it has some mistakes. So erroneous can't fit here. In case you were wondering about this in the first blank. This means okay, it has mistakes, but here it was never carried out itself. Okay. Now, let's see what you say here. Okay. What else? All right. So I've got all C's. I was thinking, okay, one or two of you would say A, but very happy. That means you read the surrounding words clearly. We were amazed. When would you be amazed? When something unexpected happens. Yes, we were amazed that a man who had till now, heretofore means till now, okay, that a man who had till now been the most dash of speakers could, in a single speech, electrify an audience, electrify, okay, mesmerize your audience, and bring them cheering to their feet. So this person galvanized, galvanize is a synonym. Okay, this person galvanized the audience, filled them with energy, electrified them, and brought them cheering to their feet. So we would be amazed when this person was not really masterful or accomplished. That's when we would be amazed. Otherwise, it's a usual thing. So, see, pedestrian. When somebody is a pedestrian speaker, they're very unoriginal, unimaginative, right? That is when we call them pedestrian. Unimaginative. So that's why C is our answer here. Auspicious does not fit at all. Auspicious is an occasion where the gods are in your favor, right? A favorable situation is a favorable occasion is an auspicious occasion, right? So does not fit. Okay, because we were talking about deceptive in the last question, some words came to my mind that I want to share with you. Specious, casuist, and sophistic. Okay. Uh, what do they mean? Any idea? Hmm. Specious, casuist, and sophistic. So I have given you a hint that because we were doing the word deceptive, that's why these came to my mind. So that means this much is clear that they are all negative words and they have something to do with deception, isn't it? This much is clear to us. So can you tell me for what do we exactly use these terms? What would be casuist in nature? Yes. And is it related to casual? Hmm. So we use these words for arguments. Okay. So uh, I okay, I wrote it as causist. I'm sorry. This is casuist. Okay, casuistry is the noun. Casuist is the adjective, right? So a casuistic argument, a sophistic argument, a specious argument. These are such arguments that sound correct, but they're based on unsound reasoning. So they sound correct superficially, but their underlying reasoning is unsound. So they may mislead the listener, right? So they sound correct, but they are based on unsound reasoning. Yeah, Shri, yes, there is a way in which pedestrian is linked to the pedestrians who walk on the road. So these pedestrians also, in a way, they're walking on the road. You would find them on the road. So something that is found on the road, right, would not be something very original, so to say, would not be something very unique, so to say, and hence that pedestrian is related to the pedestrian walking on the road, because a pedestrian walking on the road is also considered to be something commonly found. Yes, so from sophistry comes sophistic, right? So a specious argument, which on its face will sound correct, superficially correct, but will be based on unsound reasoning, right? So let us say, I'm just giving an example here, right? Let's say I spend about 300 crores rupees. Okay, I am the government and I spend about 300 crores rupees on building a statue. So I build a huge statue. And then I say that, spending, and there are pressing medical needs in my country. Medical infrastructure is, let's say, poor. Medical infra is poor. Similarly, education infra is also very poor. So I justify building this huge statue by saying that, this statue has also generated livelihood. It has generated employment because so many people come to see this statue. So there's tourism. Because of that, tourism revenue comes. Then it is generating employment for the people who have shops near this statue. So I justify it using this argument. Now, on the face of it, it's a very sound argument, right? Employment generation, tourism revenue generation. But if you look at the economic perspective, economics is all about allocation of scarce resources. Our resources were scarce here. They should have been spent on more pressing concerns, right? Okay, which would benefit us in case of medical emergencies or national international emergencies such as COVID. So I hope you understand that such arguments are specious, casuistic, sophistic arguments. Okay. Welcome, Yogita. Welcome. This is so nice to see this, hear this, right? Thank you for actually taking out the time and dropping by, and all the very best for the future, right? Yes, a commoner. Pedestrian is a commoner, a common person, a common man. Okay, let's come to this question then. So, all those three words were synonyms: casuistic, specious, and sophistic. What do you say? Shri says B. Okay. But why not C? Or why not A or D for that matter? Yes. All of you say B. So the vote is unanimous. Yes. And you're absolutely right. D is the answer. So from, see here, this the point that I wanted to make through this question, that so far we have talked about the context, we have talked about the tone of the word, positive, negative, and of course we've talked about elimination. But sometimes grammar, that helps us a lot, right? So take care of these four things when you go for a contextual vocab question. Convince me to do something. Convince is followed by to. You persuade someone to do something. Again, persuade is followed by to. So A and C eliminated. You can dissuade someone from doing something or prevent someone from doing something. That is fine. Now look at this. Dash with me. Hamper with me. No. Okay, meddle with me would have been fine. Okay, when you meddle with someone, you mess with them. So they stopped messing with me. That would have made sense. But here I need remonstrate with me, and remonstrate is always followed by with. Remonstrate is always followed by with. When you remonstrate with someone, you actually raise your objections to something. You protest in a way. That is remonstration. So, B Bangalore is the answer. Good. Vedant, Virendra, that you guys also applied that grammar logic here. Okay, so this is how you attempt contextual vocabulary questions. I hope you learned some new words and some new ways of attempting this question type, because sometimes the question can be very simple. For instance, remember the first question where you were saying that D is the answer but A was, because we didn't pay attention to the cause effect relation. And we're everywhere on social media, so join us, follow us, right? And you can download our app so as to get access to the sessions that we conduct there. We conduct sessions there as well. All right, then, this is it from my side. Welcome, Shri, welcome. And thank you for attending, all of you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.